Hey everyone, welcome to your deep dive. Ready to discover how to build a legacy as captivating and enduring as, well, Guerlain.
Such an iconic brand.
Absolutely. We're taking cues from a really interesting tarot reading. You sent in one that uses Guerlain's elegance, and that
Yes.
sensory mastery they're known for, to show how you can make a lasting impact.
It's a really clever approach, honestly. Guerlain's commitment to timeless luxury and those incredible sensory experiences, it offers a powerful framework for, well, exploring your own presence, how you want to be remembered.
Exactly. We're talking about more than just appearances here. This is about a legacy that resonates on a much deeper level, right?
hmm
And lucky for us, this reading gave us 3 powerful questions to guide our deep dive today.
Absolutely.
So we're going to break down what it means to really present yourself with elegance, how to cultivate a captivating sensory presence,
That's certain something.
yes, and ultimately how to build a legacy that truly reflects your values.
And what better place to start than with the first question? How can you present yourself with elegance and timeless appeal?
Ooh, I like it.
The cards we'll be exploring are the Empress, the World, and the King of Pentacles.
Right?
Each one, like a perfectly crafted Guerlain fragrance, offers these unique notes that, when combined, create this captivating picture of timeless elegance.
Okay, let's unpack these cards. Let's start with the Empress because I love this card. Nurturing, abundant, that effortless grace, that Guerlain embodies so well. It makes me think of how carefully they preserve their heritage while still innovating.
It's a fantastic comparison. Think about it this way. Just as Guerlain cherishes its history, how can you nurture your inner world?
Mm.
Through self-care, right? And cultivate those values that you want to embody.
Right.
What are the essential elements of your personal brand, and how can you care for them with the same dedication that Guerlain gives its craft?
It's about being intentional, right?
Eh.
Choosing quality over quantity, not just in material things, but in how you spend your time, the energy you bring to relationships, even the thoughts you allow yourself to dwell on.
Exactly.
It's all connected.
Now let's switch gears a little bit. Let's go to the World.
Okay.
This card speaks to global recognition, to embracing the bigger picture while staying true to yourself. Guerlain has done this beautifully, maintaining its unique identity while resonating with people all over the world.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, how can you cultivate that kind of global reach while staying true to who you are?
Right. It starts with your core values, the principles that guide your actions, your worldview. What are the non-negotiables that make you, well, you?
Right.
Once you've figured that out, ask yourself, how can those values connect with other people regardless of their background or beliefs? How can you communicate your authentic self in a way that everyone can feel?
That's powerful. Speaking of powerful, let's talk about the King of Pentacles. Now, when I first saw this card, I thought of Guerlain's well-deserved wealth, I'm not going to lie. But it's about so much more than that, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's not about, flashy displays of wealth, but more that quiet confidence that comes from knowing yourself and what truly matters. Think of Guerlain's most exquisite creations. They don't need to shout their quality. It's just inherent in every detail.
It's that quiet luxury we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
So how can our listener cultivate that same sense of inner richness and let it radiate outwards?
I think it starts with self-awareness. Take some time to, reflect on your strengths, what you've accomplished, the values you hold dear. What are you truly passionate about? What makes you feel the most confident, the most fulfilled? Embracing those parts of yourself, that's the key to radiating that quiet confidence the King of Pentacles embodies.
It's like that saying, true elegance is not about being noticed, it's about being remembered. These cards, man, they really give us a lot to think about. But there's another layer to this whole legacy thing I find even more fascinating.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the feeling.
Yes, and that leads us perfectly to our second question. What unique sensory experience do you offer the world? Because it's not just our visual presentation, right?
Well,
It's that intangible impact, how we make people feel,
it's true. It's like when you encounter a captivating Guerlain scent, it lingers.
right?
Even after you've walked away, it's like,
Yes.
and the cards we're about to explore,
Yeah.
they really capture that. The Moon, the Ace of Cups, and the High Priestess.
Yeah, each card holds a piece of the puzzle when it comes to understanding our own sensory impact. Let's start with the Moon. Mystery, intuition, the subconscious, it's all there.
I see it. I can already see the connection to Guerlain,
Yeah.
Some of their best scents have that air of mystery, evoking a feeling, a memory, but you can't quite place it.
Exactly. Think about the people in your life who have that same magnetism. They don't have to be the loudest in the room.
Right.
But their presence is captivating. They have a certain depth.
Yeah, it sparks your curiosity.
It does. It leaves a mark. Now, what about the Ace of Cups? This card, for me, it speaks to heartfelt emotions, those new beginnings, deep connections.
And how does that tie into this sensory impact we're talking about?
Well, just as a single drop of Guerlain, right, can unlock a flood of
It's
emotions.
true.
You have that same power to create those meaningful experiences for others.
So it's about being mindful, being present.
Exactly. It's the energy you bring. It's that empathy, that compassion. That's how you connect on a soul level.
It's like when someone just gets you,
Yeah.
they've tapped into something deeper. You feel seen. Okay, but let's talk about the high priestess, now keeper of wisdom, intuition. How does she fit into this sensory exploration?
Okay, well, think about how Guerlain blends its fragrances, right? Each scent, it's this complex tapestry of individual elements, but they harmonize to create something unique. The high priestess.
Hmm.
She embodies that depth, that complexity.
Oh, I love that. So it's not about being the loudest voice in the room.
Yeah.
It's that inner wisdom.
Yes, trust your intuition, your authentic self. Let that quiet confidence draw people in. That's where the true power lies.
It's true. We really do leave this like sensory fingerprint on the world, don't we? That's kind of wild when you think about it. But okay, now I'm really curious about the legacy part of this whole thing. How do we take that sensory impact and like make it last?
That's where our final question comes in. How can you enhance your legacy and impact? And luckily, these cards, they actually offer a sort of roadmap. The Hierophant, the Emperor, and the Eight of Pentacles.
Okay, bring on the roadmap.
Right?
And I love that we're bringing it back to Guerlain. Over a century, they've really mastered their craft.
Absolutely.
Speaking of mastery, the Hierophant, right? It's all about tradition, education, passing on wisdom, and it instantly made me think of Guerlain and how dedicated they are to their heritage, but also they're always innovating at the same time.
Right. It's this beautiful link. Guerlain honors its past while shaping the future of fragrance. And in the same way, you can become this guardian of knowledge, by sharing your own experiences and insights with the world.
Yeah.
Think about the mentors who shaped you, the books that really spoke to you, the experiences that changed how you see things.
It's true. It all adds up.
What wisdom can you share? How can you become that source of guidance for others?
It could be mentoring someone in your field,
Yeah.
right? Sharing your knowledge through writing, maybe, or teaching,
Right.
or even, just being there for the people around you.
Exactly, exactly. There are so many ways to make a real impact, a lasting one. And that actually brings us to the Emperor. Structure, leadership, really taking charge.
Oh, yeah. Guerlain, they really embody this. They set trends, always pushing boundaries, but they never lose sight of their values.
Yeah, and it's about realizing that being a true leader, it's not about bossing people around. It's about taking responsibility for what you do, and the ripple effect it creates.
I like that, the ripple effect.
Yeah.
So what kind of ripple do you want to make?
Right. What kind of leader do you want to be?
Okay, last card, the Eight of Pentacles.
Yeah.
This one, to me, it screams Guerlain's dedication. Like,
Yeah.
they are never satisfied, always perfecting their craft.
Absolutely, yeah. And it reminds us that building a legacy, it's like this ongoing process, this masterpiece you're always working on. Dedication, perseverance, always growing.
Mhm.
Guerlain didn't just magically become iconic. It took over a century, refining those skills, experimenting, always pushing for that excellence.
A journey, not a destination. I like that.
Exactly. So whether you're, an artist, an entrepreneur, a teacher, anyone who wants to leave things a little brighter,
Yeah.
approach what you do with passion, patience, and never stop learning. It all adds up.
It really does. Wow, what an incredible deep dive today. We journeyed through timeless elegance, explored how we impact the world with our senses, and even charted a course for building a legacy that lasts. And to think, we did it all through the lens of Guerlain.
It's been such a pleasure diving into these ideas with you.
Likewise.
And remember, you have everything you need to cultivate that elegance, touch hearts with your presence, and build a legacy that truly reflects you.
Beautifully said. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep leaving your own unique mark on the world.
All right, so today we're diving into something really interesting. We're looking at your tarot reading, and believe it or not, we're going to see what we can learn from Louboutin.
Louboutin.
Yeah. What do high fashion and tarot have in common, right?
Right.
But trust me on this, there's something really insightful here about stepping into your power, making a statement in your world. just
Yeah.
owning it.
Yeah, it's that unexpected combination that really makes you think. And we're not just talking about shoes, are we?
No, not just shoes.
Louboutin represents ambition, leaving a mark, and like you said, you're reading it touches on those themes in such a personal way.
Absolutely. And we're going to unpack this whole thing in 3 parts, just
Hmm.
like you're reading. Stepping into your power, making bold moves, and then creating a legacy.
Hmm.
But let's kick things off with stepping into your power. The cards you pulled for this are so fascinating. We've got the Emperor, the Queen of Swords, and the Six of Wands.
Ooh, I love it. And what I find interesting here is how those cards, they don't just connect to the idea of power, but to how Louboutin embodies it. Through quality, boldness, a clear vision.
Hmm.
Take the Emperor, for example. This card, it's not just about being in charge, it's about setting clear boundaries and standards, much like Louboutin does with their brand.
That is such a good point. When you really think about it, Louboutin has a very specific aesthetic, a level of quality they're known for. It's not about being for everyone, it's about staying true to that vision. Does that resonate with you at all? Are there areas in your life where you need to be more like, this is my line, this is what I will and won't accept?
Exactly. It's that inner confidence that draws people in. And it leads us perfectly to the Queen of Swords. She's not afraid to be herself, sharp edges and all.
Love that.
This card is all about embracing your authenticity. Just like Louboutin embraced a daring, unconventional style. What makes you unique? What are your non-negotiables? Don't be afraid to own those things.
I love that. And the Queen of Swords doesn't just own her uniqueness, she owns her voice too. She's all about clear, direct communication, which, thinking about it again, is another parallel to Louboutin. Their brand message is so clear, so distinct. They're not trying to blend in, they're making a statement.
And sometimes that requires you to cut through the noise, just like the Queen of Swords does.
Mhm.
This card might be a little nudge to use your voice to be clear about what you want and what you stand for.
Yes. So we've got this powerful combination of the Emperor's strong sense of self and the Queen of Swords' clear, authentic voice. Where does that lead us? Well, I think the Six of Wands might have the answer.
Absolutely. If the Emperor is about establishing your presence and the Queen of Swords is about communicating it authentically, then the Six of Wands is all about the recognition you get as a result.
It's that moment when you walk into a room head high owning your power and people notice. Like
Mm,
those red souls, you command attention, but not in an arrogant way at all.
right.
It's just the natural result of being comfortable in your own skin and owning your strengths.
And this card isn't just about external validation. It's about recognizing your own accomplishments.
Yes.
It's about acknowledging how far you've come and giving yourself permission to celebrate your successes.
Yes, you've earned it. What's interesting, though, is that this type of recognition often comes after a period of hard work, you know, of pushing boundaries, maybe even challenging the status quo a bit, kind of like how Louboutin did in the fashion world.
Yeah, and that idea of challenging the status quo that takes us perfectly to our next theme, making bold moves.
Yeah.
And the cards you pulled for this one,
Mm.
oh, they're all about embracing change and taking risks.
Okay, hit me with it. What did I get?
Get ready, because we've got the Tower, the Knight of Wands, and the Fool.
Whoa, the Tower.
Talk about shaking things up.
That card always makes me think of like big sudden shifts. Is that what we're talking about here?
Mhm.
Because Louboutin definitely made a splash when they came on the scene.
It wasn't just a splash, it was a revolution. That red soul, it turned the whole footwear industry on its head.
Wow.
And that's the energy the Tower brings. Disruption, unexpected change, breaking free from old structures.
So how does that relate to the listener's life? Beyond shoes.
Well, think of it this way. Are there any areas in your life where you feel like you've outgrown the old ways of doing things? Places where you're feeling stuck or limited? The Tower, it's like a wake-up call. It's
Mm.
encouraging you to embrace change, even if it feels a little chaotic at first.
Okay, so if the Tower is about letting go of what's no longer working, what comes next, like how do we move forward from that space of upheaval?
That is where the Knight of Wands comes in, boasting onto the scene with his trademark boldness and that fiery energy.
Ah, the Knight of Wands. This card's all about action, right? Just going for it full speed ahead.
Exactly. And it's that same fearlessness that we see in the Louboutin brand. They didn't play it safe. They took risks. They pushed boundaries. And they created something truly unique.
This is giving me chills. I can practically feel the listener grabbing their notebook right now, like jotting down ideas. So they've embraced change. They're feeling that Knight of Wands energy. What's the final piece of the puzzle?
But that's where the Fool steps in, reminding us that sometimes the most rewarding journeys, they begin with a leap of faith.
Interesting, because when you really think about it, starting a luxury shoe brand totally from scratch, that's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
No guarantees, just a vision and a whole lot of passion.
Precisely. The Fool is all about trusting your intuition, taking that first step into the unknown, even if you can't see the whole path ahead. And that, I believe, is the true essence of making bold moves. Embracing the unknown with a sense of adventure and unwavering belief in yourself.
Okay, I'm getting chills again, but like in a good way, I promise.
Right.
It's like that feeling you get when you put on a killer pair of shoes.
Right.
Stand a little taller, you feel a little bolder, ready to take on the world.
Exactly. And that confidence, that willingness to take risks and embrace your own unique path, that's what leaves a mark on the world. And speaking of leaving a mark,
We've talked about stepping into our power, embracing our strengths. We talked about making those bold moves, taking risks, trusting the journey. But how do we tie it all together? How do we leave a legacy, that iconic mark? I am so curious about these cards for this last part.
oh, you should be. This last set, it's all about using those powers and those bold moves to create something truly meaningful, something lasting.
Yeah.
And the cards we have here, the Magician, the Star, and the Ace of Pentacles.
The Magician. If that doesn't scream creating a legacy, I don't know what does. I mean, the ability to manifest, to bring your vision to life. Louboutin's story is kind of magical, isn't it?
It really is. Taking a simple concept like a shoe and elevating it to art. And the Magician reminds us that we all have that creative power inside, that power to shape our reality. What sets your soul on fire? What are you naturally drawn to? Those are the clues to your own magic.
Okay, I'm ready to grab my wand and start conjuring. But seriously, this idea of identifying our unique gifts, that's huge, right? Because for Louboutin, it's those red souls, that instantly recognizable signature. But for us, it's something different for each of us, something personal.
Exactly. And that brings us to the Star. It's not just about talent, it's about letting your authentic self shine. Through your work, your actions, how you move through the world, the Star encourages us to embrace our individuality because that's what makes our mark so special.
And when you own that star power, it radiates outward, doesn't it? Like it inspires others to do the same. It's like Louboutin shoes weren't just about fashion. They became a symbol of confidence, of embracing your boldest self. It's more than the object itself, it's the feeling it evokes. What do you want your legacy to evoke in others?
Now, that is a powerful question. And the answer, I believe, lies in the final card of this reading, the Ace of Pentacles.
Ah, the Ace of Pentacles. I always see this card as like the bridge between the dream and reality, taking all that creative energy, all that passion, and grounding it into something tangible, something that'll last.
It's about building something of substance, something with integrity. Louboutin didn't become an icon overnight. It took dedication, craftsmanship, a commitment to excellence. The Ace of Pentacles reminds us that leaving a legacy, it takes more than a good idea. It requires action, persistence, and a whole lot of heart.
So we started with stepping into our power, embracing our unique strength. Then we talked about making those bold moves, taking risks, trusting the journey. And now we're here at the heart of it all, creating something meaningful, something lasting. It's like taking all those individual threads and weaving them into this tapestry that tells your story.
It's about more than just leaving a mark. It's about making a difference. It's about using your unique gifts and experiences to leave the world a little brighter, a little bolder, a little more you.
This has been incredible. I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am to step into your power, make those bold moves, and create a legacy that lights you up. And remember, whether it's rocking those red souls or sharing your gifts with the world, the most important thing is to do it authentically with passion and with your whole heart. Okay, so we've got a really cool mix someone sent in about fashion and like a personal growth with Jacquemus and some tarot cards too.
Oh, wow. Interesting combination.
Right. So Jacquemus, for anyone who maybe hasn't, like dived into their stuff yet, they've got this playful minimalist vibe, all about like really bold individuality.
Yeah. You can definitely see their Southern French roots in the designs, but there's a
Yeah.
modern twist.
Totally. And it seems like from what you sent us, you're really interested in how those Jacquemus elements, that boldness, the minimalism, how that can apply not just to clothes, but to how you present yourself, like in the world.
Absolutely. It's like, how do you build a personal brand that's both authentic and impactful?
Yeah.
And those tarot cards you pulled, they're like, speak directly to this.
For sure. We're talking the Fool, Queen of Wands, and the Sun. Those are some powerful cards. Someone's ready to step into the spotlight, which, I mean, feels very on brand for Jacquemus.
Oh, totally. They definitely share that same kind of radiant, confident energy. And what I find interesting is how each of these cards actually gives you like tangible steps to tap into those same qualities in yourself.
I love that. Okay, so Let's break it down. What's the fool have to say in all of this?
So the Fool is all about, like, taking that leap of faith. Just like, think about when Jacquemus first kind of broke into the fashion scene. It was a risk, putting themselves out there. And that's what the Fool's about, expressing yourself authentically, even if it means going against, what everyone else is doing. What's that one fashion risk you've been holding back on? The Fool's like, go for it.
I love it. Just go for it. No fear. Okay, so we've got this bold energy from the fool, but then in walks the Queen of Wands. She's all about owning your power, right?
That's exactly. She is confident, she knows her worth, and she expresses it without apology. Think about those striking silhouettes, the like unexpected cutouts that Jacquemus is known for, the Queen of Wands. Would ROCK those because they're a declaration of her own unique style and power.
Yes. So how does that translate to a regular Tuesday? Not a runway show, but just, life.
It's about figuring out what your strengths are, what you're passionate about, and letting those things guide how you interact with the world.
Mm.
Maybe it's speaking up more confidently in meetings, or finally wearing that outfit that makes you feel like $1,000,000, even if it's a little, out there.
Yeah.
The Queen of Wands dares you to shine.
I am here for this energy. But then we have the sun, which just feels like next level radiance.
Right. The Sun is about embracing your most authentic self, really letting your inner light shine through. And when you do that, your confidence becomes infectious, kind of like how people are just drawn to Jacquemus's designs because they're so joyful and unapologetic. Think about how those clothes make you feel. It's contagious.
It's true. It's like if Jacquemus were a person, they'd be like rocking this bold outfit, but also just radiating this magnetic energy that draws you in.
Exactly. It's not about arrogance, but about genuine self-love and how you express that. It's about owning that unique light you have and letting it illuminate the world around you.
Okay, so we've got this beautiful foundation of embracing our individuality. But Jacquemus is also all about minimalism, and guess what? The cards totally reflect that too. We've got the Ace of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, and the Star. Let's dive into that.
It's like they get it. That true style and a truly fulfilling life, it's about focusing on what matters, making intentional choices, even if it means simplifying things.
Okay, so how does this whole minimalist philosophy actually play out in the cards themselves? Give me the practical advice.
All right, so we've got the Ace of Swords. This card is all about clarity. It's about cutting through all the noise, all the distractions with one powerful message.
Yeah, you like that.
Just like think about a striking Jacquemus design, right?
Right.
It can command your attention just with its simplicity.
Right, right.
And the Ace of Swords is kind of like that. It's encouraging you to really hone your message, define what truly matters to you, and cut out the rest.
So instead of trying to be everything to everyone, it's about figuring out what's that one core message, your unique perspective.
Exactly. Owning your truth and then having the conviction to express it, especially in a world that's just overflowing with information. That clarity, powerful.
Oh, I love that.
Mm.
Okay. And then we've got the Two of Pentacles, which always makes me think about balance.
Yes, it's all about finding that equilibrium. But it's not just about balancing your schedule or your commitments.
Mm-hmm.
It's deeper than that.
Right, yeah.
It's about making sure your energy, your actions are actually lining up with your values.
Mm-hmm.
What do you really want to be cultivating in your life?
Because it's not about deprivation, is it? It's about making space for those yeses.
Exactly. Think about it. Look at how Jacquemus creates such an impact, but with minimal elements. They're super intentional about what they include, and maybe even more importantly, what they leave out. That's the Two of Pentacles in action.
Mm.
Making those choices that really support your well-being.
This is making me think about, you sent in a picture of that one amazing Jacquemus piece you have, and you were saying how it makes you feel unstoppable when you wear it. It's like you're curating a life, but also a wardrobe that reflects those core pieces of yourself, the ones that just make you feel empowered.
Exactly. And speaking of empowerment, we can't forget about the Star.
Yes, the Star. Okay, tell me everything. This card always just feels so hopeful, so inspiring.
It really is. It's about connecting with your core essence, with that inner light. Asking yourself, what truly inspires me? What are my guiding principles? And then, just as importantly, stripping away all those external distractions to reconnect with that.
It's like hitting the reset button, getting back to basics.
Yes. And then you can use that newfound clarity to actually guide your path forward. Imagine designing your ideal life, but with that same kind of elegant simplicity, that intentionality that Jacquemus brings to their designs.
I love that.
It's powerful stuff.
So instead of that cluttered closet we all have, full of clothes we never wear,
Oh, yeah.
it's about having those key pieces, the ones that make you feel amazing, and making those choices in your wardrobe and in your life from a place of self-awareness and intention.
Exactly. And speaking of making bold choices,
Yeah.
Jacquemus didn't become like a fashion icon by playing it safe, did they?
Right. They definitely shook things up a bit. And you know what? These next cards we're about to unpack, let's just say major disruptor energy. Get ready for the Tower, the Chariot, and the Knight of Swords.
Yeah, these cards are here to challenge us, shake things up a bit.
So good, though. Okay, I'm all about embracing this disruptor energy, but how do they actually, how do these cards play into actual, personal growth?
Well, the Tower, I feel like that one always gets a bad rap
Right.
because it's about upheaval, but it's really about, think of it like breaking free from the things that just aren't serving you anymore.
Yeah.
It could be those old beliefs, habits that are holding you back. The Tower is like, boom, time to shake things up, rebuild from a stronger foundation.
Mm.
Just like, how Jacques kind of disrupted the fashion world.
Mm.
This card is challenging you to disrupt your own to win patterns
Yeah.
and just embrace change.
It's like that aha moment where you realize you've, outgrown something.
Totally. It's that moment of realizing it needs to change and having the guts to actually let go, even if it feels messy at first.
Yes. And then comes the Chariot, which is all about taking control, right?
Yes, you got it. Once you've cleared out the old with the Tower, the Chariot comes in and it's like, okay, now you get to take the reins. You get to steer your life in the direction you actually want to go. And think about Jacquemus's whole journey. They had this vision and they just went for it. Even though it meant like breaking the mold, doing things differently. The Chariot's all about that kind of bold action, that real focus on where you're going.
It's giving, okay, I know what I want and I'm going after it.
Yes, exactly. It's about harnessing that willpower, that determination, to create the life you want.
Right. It's funny because this makes me think about all the times we kind of play it safe or hold ourselves back from what we really want. It's like we're afraid to, I don't know, stand out or something.
And that's where the Knight of Swords comes in.
Right. Okay. Tell me everything. This one, it feels a little intimidating, but also super powerful.
Right. It's the card of bold action. It's about cutting through all that fear and doubt and just going for it. Remember how we were saying Jacquemus isn't afraid to experiment, to really push those boundaries with the designs?
Yeah, yeah.
The Knight of Swords is that same energy, that fearless, I'm just going to go for it spirit.
So it's like, okay, we've done the work. We've curated our style, our message, like we were talking about with the other cards. And then the Knight of Swords is like, go rock it. Don't be afraid to be seen.
Exactly. Embrace your individuality, how
Mhm.
you want to express yourself, and share with everyone. What's that one bold step you've been putting off? That's the Knight of Swords challenge. Go do it.
It's like having the most amazing outfit all planned out, thanks to the Ace of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, and the Star, but then actually having the confidence to wear it, like to own it.
Yes. It's about that alignment between your inner confidence and how you express that outwardly, and just approaching life with that intention and authenticity.
Oh my gosh, this deep dive has been amazing. It's truly made me think about fashion, AD, personal growth in such a different way.
Right. It's so cool how these two things, they seem so separate, fashion and self-discovery, but they actually come together in this really beautiful way.
They do. It's like Jacquemus isn't just designing clothes, they're designing a feeling,
Yeah.
an energy that just inspires you to embrace who you are,
Yes.
And that's something everyone can use no matter what you're wearing.
Absolutely. Makes you think. What if we actually did approach all areas of our lives with that same boldness, that same intentionality? Imagine the impact.
Right. That's going to be something I'm thinking about for a while. And I hope our listeners are too. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been so fun exploring these connections with you.